you know, someone had 2 kills in the pit flag because of how fast that was, and they were just absolutely going nutty overall. So really nice job from Octic Gaming. Yes, obviously this is the Optic Major. They're kind of favored at home court, and they have been known to be a pretty nasty team overall, but a very well played game from every single person. They put on a lot of different performances in terms of individual and teamwork, and you just got to be impressed, you know, overall from the way that they were able to perform.
Well, we started with Shopify Rebellion and their pool play. It looks like they finally got themselves ready on that C station. They're going to be going up against Complexity.
This is the series to watch, by the way.
What do you think about this Complexity roster?
I think the Complexity roster is good. RyaNoob is probably one of the best teammates that I've ever had. I think that even though me and him kind of disagreed in certain things, mainly about the practice schedule. There was a time where I had a little bit too much sponsor obligations or whatever that may be after we got second, and we disagreed a little heavily. But I think that RyaNoob is probably in the game and out of the game, you know, just like a perfect teammate that you could have. He really opens up the map for you.
All right, T-Squared, we're going to say goodbye to you. You've been here for a while. I think we've gotten the whole Tom Taylor show, right? But any last words you want to say to chat? You got all these people watching. Anything you want to just get off your chest before you leave?
Yeah, first of all, I'm sweating a lot, but I just want to give a shout out to LVT. Thanks for having me, and thanks for everything that you do to the community. Shout out to everyone in the chat for staying active in the Halo community. What's up, Vicinity? How you doing? But yes, thank you everybody so much for your support, and you know we'll be back. We'll be back very soon, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys some more.
All right, guys, go check out Straight Rippin' on the socials. Get yourself followed. Stay along with everything they are going to have come in the future.
Pre-orders are available. StraightRippin.com. Check it out.
Go check it out, guys. We'll be right back with more Halo action.
Enemy team score. Enemy team score. Team score. Double kill.
All right, hard to follow up on the mic. The same headset T-Squared just had on. That was incredible. Great job to Tools and Tom as they take us through the opening start of Champ Bracket. Here, Eli, we have an opening winners round 1 matchup that we deem to be the most competitive of the winner round 1 matchups, but so far it's Rebellion getting out to a 100-point lead.
Yeah, the thing about this game type, though, is we know how much that snowball can roll down the hill for any team, really. To get into control and force those spawns, it can be very difficult for the other team to do anything about it. But make no mistake, if Complexity can't find their way out of this situation, they should be able to flip and do the same thing right back to Rebellion.
Rebellion doubled up for now on Complexity. And if they can secure the trip cap here, they could sprint into the 200s for now. C flipping into Complexity's favor, so they're not going to get the trip cap or Rebellion, but they are going to continue scoring, are going to continue on with the high ground control as well. As you can see, the remaining 2 players alive for Complexity at the back of C, and the push is on. Rebellion snuff it out, push straight through, take down the members at C, and this map is going to flip on its head. Rebellion should likely take C, but Complexity off the A spawns are getting control of B, but not for long as Huss goes down to 1 HP and eventually back to the respawn screen.
It's one of those game modes that it almost feels like you're doing a relay race when you're in control, because you're just sprinting from one side of the map to the other. You spawn kill on this side. All right, turn around. Let's spawn kill back on the other side. And you see Suppress doing that as long as he can. Finally gets shut down. Probably going to come off spawn and get right back to it, though. Complexity still trying to find their way into scoring position. Capping B and C at the same time. Feels like it'd be hard to do both, but they do. A gonna flip to Rebellion, and suddenly this is the best Complexity's chances have looked to score a lot of points.
Complexity with control, and Eli, these two teams earmarked by the community as top 6 finishers at HCS. Everybody seemingly not only earmarking them for top 6, but saying that if one or the other aren't to get it, it's probably because they're going to take on each other. Granted, this is in the winner's side of things, so they have an opportunity to continue on with that token in their back pocket, but you want to carry it on into the winner's round, especially with how well the big 3 are doing right now in winner's round 1. They are up all, it looks like, on the upper side of the bracket, especially so, almost sweeping through their series. As Rebellion, though, up double on Complexity, holding on to it, but they go 4 down, and Precision, Descendant, the last 2 members alive for Complexity, and they're both going to look to get some hill time. Suppressed, though, mitigating some damage here with control of B, and he's going to get it.
Yeah, Complexity holding on to B there is so massive right now. This could have easily just flipped control right back into Rebellion's favor, but that last second reset going to keep Complexity scoring for now. Cykul getting a kill, though, trying to break out of this side. So interesting how many fights happen over here on the A side, considering this is typically considered the weakest stronghold. You know, you really like that BC setup, but the thing is, if you're playing the spawn trap properly, the other team has to play for A first. If you can go in and disrupt that, that means they won't even have a chance to turn and get B or C either.
Final 30 seconds, half a minute needed for Rebellion to secure game 1, but Complexity have second thoughts, in control of B halfway, now 60%. Cykul looking to break it up, but no, he goes down 2v2 for now. Oh, but SoulSnipe has the camo. This could disrupt any plans Complexity have for a comeback.
Look at the way he sat on one side of the pillar to isolate a single target. Looked like his process was to kill one and then the other, but a third member shows up, so his plan is foiled. Complexity do a great job to keep one another alive in that moment. They're going to secure B, maintain scoring position for now, but Mental getting a double kill, putting Rebellion in great position to flip it right back.
Now, you're exactly right previously, Eli. Until you have 250 in a Strongholds, you can't feel comfortable about it. We just saw Optic on the A stream down 108 to 2, I think, and then they won 249 to 108. So things can go any direction. This is a game of runs in Strongholds. And just as Complexity to make a run back at it, Rebellion secure A, B, and C, needing just 2 seconds off the double count for each second. And that's going to be enough. Rebellion secure the game 1 victory over Complexity.
Such a back and forth game, but it's always, it feels like, well, I shouldn't say always, because you just told me the opposite, but it seems like the team that gets that early lead, typically that's what it comes down to. You know, at the end of the day, yes, Complexity had moments where they had full control, but all it takes sometimes is one time for it to flip back, because that lead was already established. They're able to close the game out quite handily. Rebellion looking very strong early on in this tournament.
There's always the element of making the other team chase when you take the early lead. And while we don't weight that as heavily in Strongholds because of the way the game of runs works in it, you still have that edge. You still have that benefit of, oh, okay, I'll play this patient. I'll let you get in the hill, but I'm going to take you down and take the hill right back. Saw a lot of that there from Shopify, forcing Complexity in some sequences to overextend as they're able to bring it back. Makes Shopify maybe sweat a little bit, but that trip cap at the end secured the win emphatically as Shopify look really good. And this is a team that, through pool play, looked pretty good. We saw their last match against Cloud9, and they're carrying it through into the champ bracket. Complexity, though, have an opportunity here on live fire. They got some snipers on their team and could absolutely take this series right back.
Man, this series layout is so interesting to me because I feel like Recharge, King of the Hill, and Forbidden CTF, some of Complexity's best. I think Complexity has some unique strategies on Forbidden. They seem a little bit ahead of the curve. They've been able to take down the likes of FaZe, Optic in these online tournaments on Forbidden. So if I'm Shopify, if I know that, I'm saying we better also win this Slayer, because if we lose this Slayer, Complexity could reverse 3-1 us in this spot, but we could at least force a game 5 if Complexity are to take these next 2. don't get me wrong, Shopify have a chance to win Recharge and Forbidden for sure, but I just got to give the edge to Complexity in those ones.
You know what? I think this might be faded recollection, may or may not, but I'm pretty sure when Complexity went down 0-2 to FaZe Clan in one of those recent Open Series games, 3 and 4 were Recharge King of the Hill and Forbidden CTF before Complexity ultimately reverse swept FaZe Clan. So even if they're to go down 0-2 in the series, they got life. They have the previous experience to do it. So I think you're right. For Shopify, they're up 1-0 in the series, but you can't take things lightly. You really want to push and press for the 2-0 if you're a SR fan.
It's feeling like a Game 5 in the making,
right,
in my opinion. I think that either team really could win this live fire. It's going to come down to that snipe and tower control that we've seen be so powerful throughout this tournament already. Just gives you better chance to get that camo, makes the spawns. You have high ground positioning compared to most of the other spawns on the map. So we're going to see that kind of style being played here from both teams, I would expect. But I also expect maybe a more intricate, strategic, like chess-like gameplay when it comes to these two teams facing off against each other. They're so similar. I think Shopify maybe the kind of team that relies on speed, I think, and just overpowering people with their sheer force of will and firepower. Complexity, more methodical style, but I could absolutely see both teams kind of slowing it down in a Slayer.
Oh, here we go. El Clasico, and it's no longer online El Clasico. It's on land. FaZe Optic Gaming in the winner semifinals with a chance to take that token to the winner final. Still having to figure some things out, though, on the lower side. Quadrant, like Tom had mentioned, could have been up 2-1 in that series, instead going down 3-1. And here on our matchup that we're featuring on LVT Halo, Shopify have a 1-0 lead over Complexity. Eli, anything stick out to you as we take a look at the bracket so far?
I mean, the top three are still the top three. They are by far and away looking the most strong on this tournament. Like, you know, there's some arguments to be made. Now we have a top, like a big six almost when you talk about Sentinels, Rebellion, and Complexity kind of rounding out those other spots. But Sentinels already out of the tournament, and these two are now fighting to see who has the honor of even challenging one of the top three, because right now the top three just seem untouchable to the rest of the tournament. But I think of the people left in the tournament, these two are certainly the ones that could contest them.
You're exactly right, Eli. When Sentinels went down, the two teams that had to get the most hype about it are Complexity and Rebellion. They stand to gain the most because of Sentinels' poor performance this weekend. They're gone already out of the tournament, and now it's really just Complexity and Rebellion in the way of each other as they fight for map control here on Livefire. A TS starts off with a 1-kill lead for Complexity.
Early snipe control in the hands of Complexity. Descendant has been ascending with the sniper rifle, in my opinion. This guy's been absolutely a monster, as has been Precision. I feel like Precision's been putting up the type of numbers that these top three have to be turning their heads a bit. Like, who is this guy? What is he doing?
That's the Rookie of the Year, man. You
Could
gotta, you know more than anybody probably how cracked Precision is. We got a lot of chance over the last 365 days to watch his POV from behind his shoulder. It's always, that's why another reason Tom was talking about coming out to an event. Come out to an event just so you can stand over the shoulder of these top players and watch their gameplay live. It's cool to watch from home. It's great to watch from the LVT Halo stream, but if there's any best seat in the house, it's here at HCS Arlington as Complexity maintain that lead, not only by 1 now, but now up by a potential multi-possession, looking to extend it to 5 kills, but no, Rebellion bring it back down to 3. Complexity, a little bit of back and forth, 13-8.
Any team that features RyaNoob gonna be good at Slayers. Gonna see a bit more unorthodox plays. Maybe a 4-man stack to one side of the map here and there. I swear it's always RyaNoob's team to do these crazy plays sometimes, just complete dismissal. They just say, hey, this doesn't look like a good situation. Let's just all completely disengage and re-engage on another part of the map. Those kind of plays can be highly effective and hard to predict.
I wouldn't be surprised if RyaNoob has this idea to take advantage of the physics in Halo Infinite and all sit in a corner all together like one super Spartan, and then shots ring out and then 4 players appear out of nowhere. It just seems like something Complexity might do. As they go 3 down, though, and that's going to give a free camo grab to Suppressed with it. What can he do?
Looks like he's spotted pretty quickly, wisely retreating, recognizing he doesn't really have any teammates to play as bait. Descendant kind of overextending in that moment. Not sure what he was going for in that moment. It's kind of the feast or famine aspect of Descendant, though, right? Like, when he's on fire, absolutely unreal. Definitely overextending a lot less than he used to, but still some of those bad habits come through.
Suppressed with the snipe, and he's deadly with it. A couple of grenades might be deadly enough. Geometrical around the corner, bouncing around like a basketball bounce pass. Take down Huss to 1 HP. Descendant goes down to 1 HP, gets cleaned up by the body shot. Huss still there, but Suppress has forgotten about him. That's going to allow Huss to get some shots in the back. He takes advantage of the positioning and takes Suppress down to 1 HP. Suppress with the use of the repulsor. Gets up top to top snipe and still has plenty to work with. Great job to stay alive there. Looked almost like Huss was going to get the flank secured, but instead he goes down and Suppressed goes up. Rebellion go up in this match now by 1.
Yeah, honestly, just perfectly played teamwork from Rebellion there, just having each other's backs. No one really over-challing. They got to 1 shot, they just backed up. Another teammate swooped in, and that's what brought them back into this. Previously down by 4 or 5 kills, now in the lead. And this is that positioning that we talked about as the game was loading up. If you got snipe control top tower and the movement of Suppressed, you can apply a lot of pressure. This is going to now be in Cykul's hands, so still in the hands of Rebellion. They do a good job, even when their Cypher player dies, to make sure that stays in their hands.
Yeah, massive. To make sure that even if you go down with a power weapon, you retain possession of it on the squad as Suppressed drops it, but Cykul picks it up, looking to pick up where Suppressed left off 3 players for Rebellion at the sniper tower. It's going to make it even more difficult for Complexity to break down that power control as they spawn on the camo side of the map with it up in 30.
It seems to be just the going strat on this mode. Just get the sniper top towers. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Like, it's not that complicated. You get the good gun, get on top of the map, and just chill out. It looks like they're doing a good job across the board from the matches we've seen. Livefire Slayer, this is just how teams are winning this map. No Rebellion's going to play it by the book here. Huss, though, trying to rip a page out of the book. Maybe set fire to it, but it's not going to work. Mental's going to grab the camo, and they're going to go right back to that tower.
Now Rebellion set the stage and then burn it down. Up 7 now as Mental pushes through with a 10, 5, and 5 stat line, doing a great job. 2.0 KD and even more with the efficiency on the assist. But my God, I take a look at the assist column. SoulSnipe with 12 of them. And that's impressive. And you know what? That's fitting for SoulSnipe on a map like Livefire. SoulSnipe has such good positioning. He's going to be putting damage into the back and sides of opponents. That's one of the ways he's earned his 13 assists now. And you look at the assist for Complexity, that's nearly 4 times the amount that they have. Unbelievable teamwork from Rebellion as they ride that to it. Now a big lead. It was a 5-kill lead for Complexity not too long ago, and Rebellion feel like they're about to run away with it.
While you're ogling at their assists, they just completely changed up the game plan. I think it threw Complexity off. They all left the tower and just collapsed into Garage, knowing that Complexity were likely trying to set up a play there, catch them off guard, go get them 4 dead, run across the map, kill some early spawners, and I don't think Complexity has a means to get back into this. If there's any team that can make a comeback like this, I would say Complexity's high on that list, but 11 kill deficit into the 40s seems very difficult, as well as Rebellion is playing.
The path is there, but it's treacherous. It's not quite clear. It's not paved. Complexity are going to have to build it themselves. And it starts with RyaNoob earning some shots into the back of SoulSnipe. Talked about how good he is at finding the position. But now RyaNoob finds the slave, back of the head onto SoulSnipe. But Complexity are not back in this match. Rebellion build on their lead, up 14 with just 5 kills left. Nice no-scope there. But you'll wonder, what else can Complexity do? It looks all but over for them. 4 kills needed for Rebellion.
Look at this SoulSnipe stat line, man. 10 kills, 16 assists, 12 deaths. He is in the mix. He is just flying in, dealing maximum damage. Suppress
17!
Suppress just flying in, getting free kills left and right, and it's a triple to seal the deal, and that lead just continued to bloom as the game went on. 17 assists is a crazy number for a Slayer.
17 kills for Suppressed, 17 assists for SoulSnipe, and that's got to be one of the highest assist counts we've seen in a Slayer this weekend. Is, my goodness, Rebellion in what feels like the most consequential winners round 1 matchup, in the sense that these are the 2 closest team in power rankings in seeding going into this event. But Rebellion, they look like one of the big 3.
Right. I mean, gonna get called faded again, but Eli with his crazy takes.
Do it.
I've been saying, if there's anyone that could just randomly win an event that's outside the top 3 at Shopify, Rebellion.
Yeah.
Straight up, like, if they're playing their best, they can potentially take down some giants along. Of course, they'd have to play perfect against all of them, which is an insane task. I'd say a pretty low probability, but I can kind of see it happening. It's possible. In the many parallel universes in which we exist, they're winning a tournament somewhere in there.
These two teams, in addition to Sentinels, put in the most work in the offseason, and I think individually, on the side of Shopify, SoulSnipe, not only winning 4v4s, he also won that first free-for-all, that 5K hosted by the U.S. Marine Corps. And success all around in the offseason for Shopify, and it continues on. Complexity. We got a chance to interview Ashes yesterday, and it was really interesting what he said. He thinks that they can come out and win this event, but they built this roster and team meticulously to be in final form at the midway point of the season. Eli, what do you take from that answer that Ashes gave us in the Halo community?
I mean, that just means that he has like a bigger perspective of what this team could be, and they're still in the early stages of what they're trying to develop, but they're still showing massive signs of greatness through and through. It's just a matter of like ironing out all those moments that end up mattering in the grand scheme of things. And right now, I mean, if this isn't their final form, I'm scared of what they're going to look like midway through the season. At the same time, though, on the other side, you got Shopify, who they've been a squad for longer, I think. They were one of the first squads to form in the offseason, led by Best Man, their coach, good friend of mine. We used to team back in the day, Halo 2 days. And Best Man's a great mind to have behind these guys. I mean, just a calm presence to, keep them in shape, make sure they're held accountable, showing up for scrims. And I mean, I don't know. There's something special about both of these rosters, honestly, but they're special in different ways, in my opinion.
Well, Complexity are down 0-2 in this series, but the next two games set up preferably for Complexity. This is the route they took. We talked about the path. This is the path they took to reverse sweeping FaZe in one of Complexity's best performances in the offseason, but that was online, but it was against FaZe. So I don't know. I think you can take from that, and I think Complexity are probably relying on some of that previous experience. They're probably saying, guys, we're down 0-2 in this matchup, but look at the way the series layout plays out. It favors us getting back to Game 5. And I'll say another comment about Complexity. They're so calm, cool, and collected. I saw them before they took on Optic yesterday, which was their premier match in pool play. And I thought the way their conversation was, the tone of their conversation, it felt like they had already played Optic and they won, and like they just sounded so calm, and they weren't really pressed or stressed. They seem like they have the confidence to take down anybody this weekend. We've seen that, but will we see it here against Shopify? Will we see Complexity continue on in the winner bracket? Space Station lying in wait after this, so you don't get much of a reward for winning this series in the sense that you got a really difficult matchup up next, but it's there in front of Complexity. The series layout, most importantly, Recharge, King of the Hill, and Forbidden CTF, two of their better game modes, the two exact game modes that they used to reverse sweep just a couple weeks ago. So it's possible. It could happen.
It definitely looks like that. I will say that something that T-Squared said when he was on cast did resonate with me about just energy levels, right? Like,
yeah,
all these teams have a range of performance, right? They got their A game, their B game, their C game. Feels like Shopify is definitely on their A game so far this weekend. They've been damn near unstoppable in every series so far. Complexity, it kind of feels like we're getting their B game, because when they're on their A game, they're going to make it competitive with Optic. It didn't really look that competitive against Optic yesterday, if I'm being completely honest. But
agreed.
I don't think that they're really hitting that highest note that we know they're capable of just yet.
Complexity haven't hit their stride just yet, but fortunately for them, it's a best of 5, and they still have life here on Recharge. What are going to be some of the keys, especially as it relates to the new changes coming into Season 3? Is there anything that, in particular, that, let's say you are Coach Ashes, what would you tell the boys right here going into Game 3 Recharge, King of the Hill?
I would say these guys are going to try to play fast and disrupt our process, but be ready for it. Set traps, because Complexity, the type of squad that play for that anchor position for every hill, but I think Shopify know that, and they're going to try to play into that as an advantage for them by just launching 2 bodies at the anchor point as fast as possible, killing RyaNoob because he's hiding behind a box somewhere, waiting for a squad to come up. Don't give him the opportunity to make those sneaky plays and just overwhelm them with sheer force. But Complexity could potentially bait that if they're thinking ahead of that counter strategy and start setting traps where Shopify are flying into their own death.
You bring up a great point. That's something we've seen frequently throughout the weekend and online in King of the Hill for Complexity. They get to the 99.9%, and they step out of the hill, which in theory is the right play to make. But when the other team expects it, it could become the wrong play. Eli, talk me through what it means to make the right play, but when it's an expected play, it could be wrong. I always remember playing against Walshy back in 05, 06, and like, Mikowski, you're one of the hardest people to play against. You know why? Because you're a stupid noob, and you do stuff that I'm not expecting.
Yeah.
So could we see a little bit of that here in this series? It seems possible.
Now, the thing about these two teams is, like, they know each other's playbooks so well that they've started to conjure counter strategies to the counter strategies that they expect the other team to employ. You know what I mean? Like, we're at that level of Halo now where, like, if I'm coaching a Diamond student, I'm telling him how to play the game, and I'm giving him as much information as I can give him, but it's just a different game being played at this level, right? Like, these guys know those fundamentals for the game type, but they also know that because their opponent is going for that, there's a way that they can play ahead of that to make it more difficult for them to ever get that hold into the mode. And I don't know, there's so many great minds on the stage that are about to be playing on this game type, and it's hard to predict really how it's going to go. I think that RyaNoob's one of those guys that will think many steps ahead, like a chess grandmaster, if you will. But at the same time, they can't be on their B game no matter what to beat Shopify if they're on their A game. It's one of those stages in Halo 2 where like Shopify on their A game could probably beat FaZe, Optic, or SSG if those teams are on their B game. I don't think they are this weekend yet, but it's like if you're on your B game, you might not be able to beat any of the top 6.
Feels like we've reached the point in the tournament. Reminds me of an exhibit, Pimp My Ride, maybe Pimp My Halo now. You put strategy inside of your strategy, so you guys could strategy more strategy.
Exactly.
It's just...
the throwback to MTV since we had T2
right.
a second ago.
I'm pulling out all the 05, 06 references after watching Tom. That was really cool to see, man, especially as someone that got a chance to play with him a lot back in the day as we hop on board with more gameplay. Sab with the snipe in his hand, and boy, is he good with it. Opens up the no-scope and the scoring for Proton.
Oh, we just get to see that one. We just get to see Haynes' face get ripped off, and then we're going to go right back to it. Here we go. It's early control from Complexity. See, we know, I think Complexity's strat, because I've been watching their scrims, is they just don't even go for camo off the start of this. Let's just get control of A in the hill, and who cares if they get ammo? We'll find where he goes and kill him later.
There you see that strategy deployed, conceding the camo to SoulSnipe. But now, because of the camo, he's able to grab Shock for free. And now at the back of the B pillars has an opportunity to not only secure some slays with that Shock rifle, but he's getting some time as well. Love this play here from SoulSnipe, baiting people in with his positioning and with the reticle centering. He's got some potential headshots, but I love how nobody pushes through into that reticle on the long haul side. Great recognition of the situation from Complexity, but not enough. So RyaNoob, the last player alive, he goes down. All 4 go down, and in one fell swoop, Rebellion likely take Hill 1.
Do you see what Rebellion is doing? They just forced all of Complexity to spawn long haul twice in a row and gave them no escape options. You saw the positioning. They had top gold, they had back silo, they had A, and they are just putting them in the absolute blender. This is perfect spawn manipulation, and this is the type of counter strategy that I talk about that I expected to be employed against RyaNoob's team. RyaNoob, they had a plan once they spawned long haul. You saw them separate and try to take space on either side, but Rebellion is like, yeah, they're just going to send 2 long and 2 to white, but we're going to be there waiting, and they just killed him. And now they're already halfway done on the second hill.
Perfect spawn manipulation and a perfect individual start there from Mental, hitting 8-0 before going down. Back to the respawn screen is Suppressed, utilizes the shock rifle pad to combine for some damage. Rebellion get back in it. 2 go down on each side. 3, make it 3 for Complexity as they're able to get back in the hill, but it feels like a weak push in that sense. Rebellion right back on their steez, right back with the numbers advantage, but Huss trying to mitigate some damage, trying to earn some slays. Can he get through to C? He does for now, but no, SoulSnipe not going to allow him to even breathe, but 3 go down for Rebellion. 2 go down for Complexity, make it 3. It's Precision and Cykul, the only 2 left.
Precision's got to make a play here. If he dies, I think this hill goes to Rebellion. He's facing heavy fire. He has survived long enough to give Complexity some time and space, but Not sure if it's going to be
Enemy
enough.
about to score.
Huss going to try to get in on this side. Sees his teammate RyaNoob, but they were predicted. Nades come in. He's already one shot, and he gets blown up by the remote detonation. It just feels like, yes, Complexity has a process, but
Kill incoming.
Precision is currently 0 in 7, which I have never seen from him. He's been shut down every step of the way, and every single play Rebellion has an answer for.
Can't win it early, but you can lose it early, and you have to wonder now for Complexity. They got plenty of time left in regulation, 4 minutes, but they can't go down 3-0. Rebellion just looked too good, and if Rebellion go up 3-0 in this match, they likely win the series 3-0 as well, as they're looking really good here against Complexity. A series, Eli, that we anticipated to be one of the first Game 5s that we've seen this weekend.
Right.
The competition's been so close, but I don't think we've seen a Game 5 yet.
We haven't. And looking at the series layout, we saw the potential for it, but honestly, it was just observing the energy and the pace that Rebellion is playing with that made me kind of walk back on that and say that, you know, maybe Rebellion's just going to counter Complexity in a hard way. So far, they've proven to do so.
Well, that's what it looks like Rebellion are doing. It looks like they're out-complexity. Complexity. If that's
It's
a
really
new word
yeah.
again.
That's, I think you're right actually, because Complexity do like to play this fast, aggressive style, but with, you know, doing it in an intelligent manner. But the problem is Rebellion also play that way, but it almost feels like they just have more firepower. Calculated
Chaos and Complexity can't answer to it just yet. They do have the lead in this third hill, needing this one in particular to come back. RyaNoob looking to get away, sneak away with the camo, but no, he goes down. It does not burn. I think I just heard it get grabbed. I believe Descendant has it as he looks to push on through. No, he does not. I wonder who grabbed that camo, if anybody, for Complexity.
Mental 14 and 3, 6 assists, absolute monster numbers early in this game. And you're right, man. If they get this third hill, this could be all but over for Complexity. Only saving grace would be how much time is left on the clock. But yes, this is the third hill being planted. Suppress already rotates to the next. And this is exactly what I talked about. They're going to predict for Complexity to try to make these rotations to the next hill, but he's one step ahead every single time.
This is exactly it. Wow. Rebellion are playing perfect Halo, and I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, Eli, talking about that Game 5, but taking on SSG in the next round, that feels like it could go to a Game 5 if both are even playing at their A game, because Rebellion looks to have brought their A++ game here today. And this weekend at HCS Arlington is they are dominating a Complexity roster that had a 1 seed in pools, the 4th seed to be exact. Rebellion are looking to switch that as Suppressed at the back of seat, looking to stay alive, defend his turf, and that's all Rebellion have to do at this point. But I think they're going to go for 4. They are, in fact. They got a quarter or so already on the board. 3 go down, though, for Rebellion. And if Complexity have any chance, they need to come back right here and secure this hill without letting any more time off the clock.
Much easier said than done. This hill exposed to Whirlpool, Bat Ledge, obviously backseat silo, long haul, sneaky. There's so many parts of this map that Rebellion can just kind of chill and wait for someone in Complexity to start desperating for time. Could honestly just sit under Bat Ledge, wait for the hill to light up, jump up and shoot the guy out. Because it means to burn some time off the clock, but that's not their style. They're going to play in your face. They're going to play aggressive. They're going to force you to make decisions, more and more difficult decisions. SoulSnipe predicts that he's likely to die soon, just burns a single shot out of the rifle, only 2 left. Shock rifle is going to go down, but it's got to be reloaded, and it's only got 1 shot even after, so it might be bait for whoever picks it up. Look at this. Mental does not care. Tries to get the remote detonation, barely misses the shot on it. Dodges the grenade. Dodges 2. And I think these members of Complexity probably expect him to be weaker than he is, and that's why he's able to get a trade. But great dodges of those grenades to keep Mental in that one.
Yeah, Mental, excuse me, having himself a great game. 19, 8, and 7. The top performer in terms of slays and even almost assists. Like least deaths in the lobby as well. There's that triple-double we were talking about. As Mental having an MVP performance, but Complexity with a foot in the hill could potentially score their first, and going down 2 with 2 to go. Don't look now, but Complexity are back in it.
If you'll recall, we've been talking about how good Rebellion's playing, but if you'll recall, Complexity against Optic in this very game type. Made that crazy rotation when it was tied 3-3 from A all the way through gold pipes, all the way to long haul, all the way to blue pipes to secure the victory in an emphatic fashion against Optic. So we know they've got the playbook, but that's what I'm saying is Rebellion watched that game. They saw what they did. They understand why they do what they do. And perhaps that's why they've been able to counter them as 4 go dead for Complexity. Hill player just sitting safely in a shroud in the hill. And yeah, Rebellion looked to just stamp the 4th hill on this one to end it right here, right now.
Rebellion could play for time, but instead they're going to play for that 4th and final score. But RyaNoob has the shock and an opportunity at top gold to earn the high ground. And a couple more slays lining up his sights onto Mental, but he's doing too well to de-scope RyaNoob. Great shots, long range with the Bandit. Mental gets cleaned up though, focusing tunnel vision, you could argue, on RyaNoob. Precision takes advantage of that awareness and finds the slay. Can Complexity find another hill? They need to just simply get in it, because if not, Rebellion are going to steal it. They're at the 75% mark, needing just a few more seconds of time.
Just feels like the shock rifle shots falling flat for Complexity right now. Whenever Rebellion has the shock, they're deleting players off the map. Gotta at least match the other team's pace and slays if you're going to come back into this. Shroud getting placed out there. Descendant gets a kill. Okay. Starting to look good. Mental kind of flying in to try to clean up some last-second damage. RyaNoob needs to get this kill here.
This is the game right here.
Needs to stay alive as well. Oh, look at this. Does choose to be that anchor position. Wants to give time for his squad to show up. Looks like it was a good decision. Stops the rotate in from tower. RyaNoob thinking a step ahead here. He stops that rotation.
That's the veteran leadership for RyaNoob. In a situation where you'd think he'd have to overextend, that you'd think he'd have to stress and press, but he actually steps out of the hill and might just have Complexity stepping back into this game 1v1 against Suppressed, and RyaNoob wins it. And potentially this next hill for Complexity with 1:15 left on the clock could just make it a 1-score game, but 3 go down. Rebellion looking to secure this match and this series.
Wow, that looked like the conditions they needed. It was cut out for them, and RyaNoob was doing as much as he could, but it ends up not being enough. And we see Rebellion on the backs of Mental with, what was that, 29 and 10? This man is unlocked. By the way, I talked to Bestman first day I got here, and he said that Mental was having controller issues. I guess he got used to that new scuff controller, but he used a software he can't use here.